I finally had the true full OBE experience. Explain what that means. Up until this point, I've had about 5 or 6 different experiences. And up until this point, I put myself in sleep paralysis using the AIDA method. And what would happen was either I would fall asleep and just appear somewhere, or I would move and then I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything. But every time I've had the different experiences, it was all me appearing somewhere. So I would go into the method, I go out of consciousness, and then my consciousness would wake up and I'd be in a particular place. Whether it was outside, as you saw in the video, whether it was flying through the air when I met the Lyrans, or whether it was me being in the halls of Amenti. So I finally accomplished the full out-of-body experience, meaning I was able to have my soul levitate out of my body, turn around, see myself sleep. So I'm going to get into it so you guys know how this experience went. So this was February the 1st. I had put myself down to sleep using the AIDA method. Basically, I have my noise canceling headphones, listening to a delta wave binary beats that allows me to calm my body and put it into sleep paralysis. So at this point, I'm going through that process. This night, I had committed myself to going through the full process. I said I didn't want to have a half process or be somewhat conscious when I come out of my body. I wanted to be in full consciousness when I come out of my body. So I committed myself to going through the entire method. It did not matter how long it was going to take. I was okay with staying up all night if I had to make this happen, because I really wanted that full experience. I wanted to be able to see myself, see my physical form sleep as my soul removed itself from my physical form. So going through the process, and about an hour and a half into it, the beats will shut off. And so then you're just in quiet, total quiet. And at this point, you really got to concentrate on staying still, not panicking. You'll feel sometimes you'll feel pain, sometimes you'll feel itching, sometimes you'll feel tingles. And if you can just maintain that still and quiet for about 15 to 30 minutes after you feel those sensations, the next thing you're going to feel is this kind of swaying within your soul is kind of swaying within your body. So it'll kind of be like this almost like a movement within your body, and you can feel it. So I got to that point, and that's when it happened. My soul started pulling up out of my body like this, and it hovered about 10 inches over my body, and then kind of hovered over to the edge of the couch where I stood up. So then I stood up, I turned around, I looked, and I saw myself sleeping on the couch. So I'm sitting there sleeping full on my back, eyes closed. And it's like you're looking at it, and it's so weird because you're looking at it like, what, that's me? It's almost like you don't believe that's you. So I turned, look. I didn't spend much time looking because I knew that I need to get away from my body or I get sucked back in. So I started walking down the hallway. And as I'm walking down the hallway, it's dark because initially when you first come out of your body, for me anyway, it's been dark. Your consciousness isn't in its fullness yet, so it's still kind of dark. So as I'm walking down my hallway, all of a sudden the light, it's like somebody flipped the switch and all the lights came on in the house. It became so bright, and it was like this color I can't even explain. It was like a lime green, like a brighter green than my jersey. It wasn't this type of green. It was more like a neon type green, but it was soft. It wasn't a harsh color. It was like a soft color. I couldn't even explain what this color was, but my walls were this color. Everything was this color. And so as I'm walking towards the back of the hallway, a shadow being, just basically a shadow figure, bipedal shadow figure, walks right through my front door and right in front of me and starts walking down the hall in front of me. So I'm looking, and at this point, I have no fear. I'm not bound by fear anymore, so I'm not sitting there looking at it like, oh my God, what is that? Or, worried about it doing anything to me, because I understand that no soul can harm me unless I believe it to be so. So I followed this shadow being down the hallway, and it went into our bedroom. because I was on the couch when I started going into the method. So I went to followed into the bedroom. It literally stopped at the foot of the bed and just stood over my wife's body. And so I'm looking down and I'm seeing her sleep too. And so I'm not sure what this being is, but then I noticed there are other beings kind of running around the room, shorter beings. Again, it felt like they were like trolls or fairies or something. I don't know, but they were like shorter beings. I didn't focus on it. I just was mostly focused on this shadowy figure. So to the point where I tapped it like, hey, who are you? And it turned around and I couldn't see a face. It was just shadow, just like a dark shadow. And so I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it didn't scare me. It didn't bother me. I didn't think it was there to do me any harm or my wife any harm. So I turn around and I walk out of the room. So I go and I say, well, let me go check on my son. So I go in my son's room and he's laying there on the bed, but his room is like a red color. And I know it's red because he uses LED lights. So I think it may have been that what I was seeing, but his room was red and there was a being like kind of standing near over him, just kind of watching over him. And this is where it's interesting. My son says he sees different figures sometimes. Like he says he's seen these at night. I've literally been having a conversation with my son and he'll look over my shoulder and had his face like this face, kind of like a fearful face. And I turn around and I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, it's something behind you. So that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that another time. But this being was standing over my son's bed. So I'm looking at this being and it looks like a regular human. He was short, around about 5'5", 5'6". He was really short. And he had a bald head and he was probably a little bit lighter than me. Now, the crazy thing about it is I don't know who this being is in this realm, but clearly me and this being know each other outside of that, because when he turned around and he saw me, we instantly started laughing. He gave me a hug and we started talking, but it wasn't verbal communication in the sense of words. It was more so just like an energetic communication. And so we kind of sat there for a good little minute, just kind of exchanging frequencies, I guess you could say. So we sat in there, and then the next thought was, hey, I'm gonna go check on my daughter's room. I want to see her in her bed sleep. So as I'm walking out of the bed, this is when I come out of sleep paralysis and I get sucked back into my body. So now I've woken up. And that was the experience. Now, again, a lot of these experiences aren't super long. I think I've only been really practicing the method for not less than a year now. So I'm still learning how to use these skills so that I can stay out of my body longer, time it up where I'm going into sleep paralysis earlier. And so it gives me a longer experience. So I'm still kind of testing different theories that I have about my body to make myself have a longer experience. So I got sucked back into my body. So with all that being said, this was a beautiful experience, because basically what it did was it just confirmed that, okay, now I know I'm on the right path. I know what I'm seeing now. It's not like might be dreaming or might not be dreaming, because now I sat here and I turned around and I saw myself sleep on the couch. I saw my wife sleep on the bed. I saw my son sleep on his bed, like in real time. So now I know this is more confirmation for me that I'm on the right path in terms of my building my skills with doing this. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like as I continue to do this for years to come, and how much more information I'm going to be able to get outside of my body, and how much I'll be able to bring back here and share with you guys. But I wanted to take that time and just let you know that we live in basically a video game. And I'm convinced now, 100% convinced, that none of this is real. The only reason why it feels real is because you have 5 senses. So sight, touch, smell, hearing, taste, and everything you experience in this reality is based on those 5 senses. Outside of your body, there's a whole nother level of experience and sensory that you get that you can't really even explain in words. And so thank you guys. I really was so glad I was able to share this experience with you. Hope I'm able to have some longer experiences, but thank you for listening. Peace and blessings.